The 6ix9ine court case continues to provide rappers and fans with a ton of things to talk about, including how Cardi B is now the main focus in 6ix9ine's case. With all the other legal issues Cardi B is facing, this will be her end. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Reacted to the alleged snitching with this Keke Palmer meme.
I hate to say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
How Cardi B got brought into all this.
Speaking of Cardi B, social media went crazy after news broke that 6ix9ine snitched on her.
Let me bring you up to speed on everything that's been going on. 6ix9ine has been in court detailing aspects of the 9 Treys, a notorious group out of Brooklyn, due to his plea deal he signed in February after being detained in November of 2018 by the FBI. Over the course of several days recently, he revealed many things. In the first court appearance, he pointed out certain things about the 9 Treys, including certain crimes they orchestrated that he was a part of, how they got their money, and so on and so forth. Then, on September 19th, he went and indicted 2 more people of being members of the 9 Treys. 2 big names at that.
Mind that Jim was affiliated, and also brought up Cardi B. I think there was other names in there too.
Mainly rappers Jim Jones, and I'm sure you're already aware, Cardi B, the latter of which caused a lot of waves in the rap community. This particular revelation came when he was getting asked questions by an attorney. "You knew Cardi B was a blood?" Attorney Alex Hewitt asked. "Correct," Tekashi replied. "You know Cardi B made music videos with bloods in the background?" Hewitt asked. Again, getting a yes from Tekashi. Well, it's not confirmed. 6ix9ine insinuated that Cardi B having the 9 Treys in the background was a way for her to get more street cred, which is exactly what he did when he was building up his rap career. Though he acknowledged that he didn't copy her, he even noted that he didn't pay attention to her. Both these accusations are being taken very heavily, and both sides are getting reactions from fans and supporters because of this, as they should, because this is a very serious accusation, and one that could affect Cardi B's career depending on who is listening. Cardi B's response to 6ix9ine
wasn't true. The platinum-selling rapper, however, swiftly corrected the rep and confirmed she's a member of the Brim set, not 9 Trey.
We'll be talking about how this particular situation doesn't help Cardi B a little later, but upon hearing the accusation, Cardi and her lawyers were very quick to respond, stating that she isn't, nor has she ever a member of the 9 Treys. That being said, Cardi admitted on Twitter that she was a blood, just not in the sect that 6ix9ine noted. She claims to be part of the Brims, not 9 Treys. That's a subtle difference, but it is an important one as the 9 Treys are an offshoot of a group from the West Coast that goes by the same organization. How will this play out for Cardi B remains to be seen. It's doubtful that this will hurt her career, as it's hard to prove whether 6ix9ine was telling a truth or the truth he believes. Another subtle but very important distinction. Then again, if she is proven to be lying and was a member of the 9 Treys, it could be enough for the FBI to look into her like they did 6ix9ine. On the other hand, if 6ix9ine is lying or isn't being 100% honest, this could backfire on his plea deal, which is terrible news for 6ix9ine. There are many different ways this can go. She also has been playing this off as nothing more than noise, including when being asked if 6ix9ine was a snitch, literally laughing it off as people watched. Clearly she's not fazed, and it may be for a very good reason. Phrasing. The question of Cardi B being in a group like the 9 Treys honestly isn't new, and when the reveal that Cardi B may be a member of the 9 Treys came out, the only shock was that 6ix9ine was the one to admit it, and not Cardi. However, eagle-eyed people looked at the transcript for the court interaction, the one we posted earlier, and noticed a key difference in what was asked and what was said. Mainly, the attorney in charge didn't ask 6ix9ine if Cardi was a member of the 9 Treys, he just asked if she was a blood. If you recall Cardi's response to the allegations, she admitted that she was part of a group called the Trim Bloods, which obviously has the same word, blood, in the title. So technically speaking, 6ix9ine may not have been accusing her of being a 9 Trey, but just a member of a group that he recognized via the people dancing in the music video and such. I'm sure this may seem like a very small difference. However, when it comes to associations, the smallest of words can have a very big impact. Some people are already blowing up this incident and saying that Cardi B's reputation is ruined. Whether that's actually true or not remains to be seen. I personally would never go and say that, as I fear Cardi B's stands. If you've never ran into them on Twitter, good for you, because that's just a different experience and something that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. The case against Cardi B.
So yes, it's true that Cardi got a residency in Las Vegas in the Palms.
Cardi B herself, though, is in some serious legal trouble, and ironically, her next court date might be coming up soon. And this isn't some slap on the wrist endeavor, rather it's something that has been building since last year. Does that sound familiar? And she's already been indicted by a grand jury so that her case can be done in the New York Supreme Court. So yeah, she's in some trouble. The incident itself happened in the later part of 2018 when Cardi B and her crew went into a club. It was on a Saturday and around 3 a.m. And for what was unclear at the time, Cardi B got in an argument with a female bartender. More on that in a bit. This would later be revealed to be something much more than it appeared, but for now I'm going to be vague. The argument started out in a very basic fashion. Words and accusations being thrown around, voices getting louder and louder, the typical kind of thing. But then it started to escalate, to the extent that the bartender and another person was hurt. Chairs, bottles, and even pipes were thrown around, and chaos started to reign in the club. What might be considered an even worse offense though, is that Cardi and her entourage fled the scene when the incident itself broke out, likely trying to avoid getting arrested or possibly just trying to be safe. But after everything had calmed down and the police were called in, the bartenders who were hurt in the incident called out Cardi B as the person who started the endeavor and actually hurt the bartenders themselves. Naturally, the cops looked into the matter and tried to ascertain whether Cardi B was actually involved in the incident. At first, nothing was done to her. Eventually though, Cardi B was given a summons to come to the police station for questioning. She happily complied, but right after that, she was charged with a misdemeanor, reckless endangerment, and more, which for the record is actually pretty significant despite them being misdemeanor offenses and should not have been done. She would go to court, a foreshadowing of things to come. After the charge, Cardi B didn't have anything to say, but her lawyer was happy to speak about her innocence in the matter. We are aware of no evidence that she caused anybody any harm from that night, her lawyer Jeff Kern told reporters. We expect this matter to be resolved expeditiously. Obviously that didn't happen, and she's been indicted by a grand jury on 14 counts that I'll get into later. But the irony of the entire situation in regards to now is that she actually had an easy way out of this ordeal, for not unlike 6ix9ine, she was offered a plea deal. Apparently if she agreed to plead guilty to the event and accept the 2 misdemeanor charges, she would have been given reduced charges and guaranteed no jail time. Despite this being fair given the charges against her, she went into court and rejected the plea deal, ensuring that her court case would continue. But why? That is the question here, isn't it? Why would she reject such a plea deal if it meant getting no jail time? The simple answer is that maybe she felt that there was no way she would get convicted. This may have been the advice given to her by her counsel. They might have noted to her that she had a very strong chance to get off without needing to confess to anything, which has obviously happened in court cases before. The other reason might be that she didn't want to have anything on her record, and the plea deal demanded that she had pled guilty to the counts given to her in order to escape jail time. This is a tricky thing. While it's fair that you don't want to have a record, Cardi B does seem very guilty in regards to what happened, as you're about to see. So it may have been arrogance that led her to reject the plea deal, and now she's paying the price for it, because as we learned, this case was much more personal than originally conceived. For as the court case went on, more and more details of the incident came out. The bartenders that Cardi B scrapped with at the club were Jade and Baddie G. Jade is the current girlfriend of jailed rapper 6ix9ine, and Baddie G is her sister, which puts a whole other spin on this entire case, because according to sources, Cardi B went up to Jade and tried to get her to confess that she had an affair with her husband, Offset. Despite the demands, Jade repeatedly denied the affair, which only got Cardi B angrier and thus escalated the situation. It was at that point that Baddie G got involved in order to help out her sister. Then the incident happened and chaos ensued, and that led to the court case that's going on right now. While these details may seem small, they're actually a window into the whole situation, because while it's true that we all know stories of celebrities going off the rail and harming random people for the most random of reasons, this isn't one of those stories. Instead, this is a story of Cardi B getting personally insulted by someone who she felt had an affair with her husband. And like many women, celebrity or not, who has dealt with affairs or potential affairs, the rational was thrown out the window. To be clear, this does not excuse what happened, and that led to the decision on May 31st for a grand jury to be convened to see if Cardi B should be indicted on multiple counts because of the incident. The indictment. In case you didn't know, there's a difference between a grand jury and a regular jury that you see in regular courts and TV shows. A grand jury is convened if it's unclear whether a case should go to trial on the evidence or testimony presented. A group of 23 jurors is brought in and are told the case by the prosecution and hear certain arguments from the defense and see whether it should proceed. But there's a catch. Whereas the original trial hearings were meant to only set a basis of the case, a grand jury trial can allow for new things to be brought in, including brand new charges. To that end, the prosecution specifically asked for a grand jury trial so they could go from a simple misdemeanor offense to charging Cardi B with multiple misdemeanors and 2 felonies. And sure enough, on June 20th, 2018, Cardi B was indicted on 14 counts in the club incident. Of the 14 counts, only 2 were felonies, with them being 2 counts with intent to cause serious physical harm. Other charges include misdemeanor, reckless endangerment, conspiracy, and harassment according to TMZ. A few days after the indictment, Cardi B pleaded not guilty to the charges, which you would obviously expect for her in this position because she's trying to get off scot-free. What's important to note though is that the charges are very serious, one that could land her locked up for a year, up to 7 years depending on how things go down. And now, because of 6ix9ine, these accusations, true or not, could potentially be used against her to show character to the jury, which might lead them into thinking that she was going to do this to someone down the line. It just so happens to be Jade and Baddie G first. It's a dirty move, but in court, you move to get the things done at times. And it's true, even though 6ix9ine may not have specifically said that Cardi B was a part of the 9 Treys, he said that she was a blood and she then confirmed. And whether it be the 9 Trey or the Brim, it doesn't look good for Cardi. And of course, her fans will not be happy that 6ix9ine has dragged her into this mess, which luckily for 6ix9ine, he can't use the internet in jail, because like I said, those Cardi B stands are really something to be scared of. Though she wasn't the only one he snitched on, to be clear. The updated snitching.
That's right, people. 6ix9ine is snitching on his gang and he's going into witness protection.
Let's get back to 6ix9ine now and talk about how things are really not going well for him because he just won't keep his mouth shut. But a recap of events. In November of 2018, he was detained by the FBI in regards to several incidents he perpetrated with his former group, whom he fired weeks before being detained and were detained alongside him. That sounds pretty awkward. But they were part of the group known as the 9 Treys. In February of 2019, 6ix9ine accepted a plea deal, one that would have him confess and plead guilty to various counts, but couldn't get a life sentence verdict and would likely be given a lesser sentence. The catch? He had to rat out not just the former crew that was detained, but testify against the 9 Treys, which he did. And at this point, pretty much everyone detained in November 2018 from the FBI bust has pleaded guilty to certain charges, been convicted, and even been sentenced. Did he stop there though? No, he didn't. As of September 18th, 6ix9ine was back in court, but this time around, he was spilling the beans about beef the 9 Treys had against other people, including one incident where another such group in Texas, headed up by Rap-A-Lot, refused to let 6ix9ine perform in Austin, Texas, because he didn't seek Rap-A-Lot's permission to do so. This led to a revenge plot, according to TMZ's records of the trial. As it turns out, Rap-A-Lot Records honcho Jay Prince was in NYC the next month, and Tekashi testified that he and the 9 Treys decided to get revenge. He says Shotty and other members stole from Rap-A-Lot's reps in the lobby of a building, while Tekashi sat outside in a parked car. Tekashi shot video of the evidence, which prosecutors played in court, along with surveillance video of the incident. Tekashi said that, as they fled the scene in the car, Shotty got nervous and kicked 6ix9ine out of the car, leaving him to take the subway back to Brooklyn while packing a piece in his hoodie. Furthermore, he documented the command structure of the 9 Treys, certain other notable incidents, including an altercation that happened at LAX, and on it went. He was even asked definitively what his role in the group was. He said, just keep making hits and be the financial support, so they could buy pieces and stuff like that. 6ix9ine noted on the stand that if he made something like $250,000 for a deal or a song release, he'd get like $185,000 and the group would take the rest. That sound like a fair trade? It did to 6ix9ine. He said the group was the reason he was famous. My career? I got the street credibility, the videos, the music, the protection, all of the above. And his time in court is still not done. There's a ton more that needs to be revealed, which makes people all the more curious about how 6ix9ine is going to be if he does get out of jail, because his snitching had made him a lot of enemies, and now he can add Jim Jones, again, and Cardi B to the list of names of people who despise him because of his snitching. The fury of the rap community.
You are a rat. You're a rodent. I don't respect you in no type way.
Upon 6ix9ine's recent snitching escapade, a lot of people had a lot of things to say about the situation, not the least of which was prominent members of the rap community who felt that 6ix9ine wasn't just being a snitch, but a coward and a fool. Many feel that should he try and make his way back into the rap world, he's going to be shunned by many who work in it, which is a very probable outcome listening to recent interviews. For example, young rapper The Baby admitted that before 6ix9ine's arrest that he would have happily worked with him. Hell yeah, I would have done a song with him. Why not? It would have brought me some bread. I play the game. I'm about my business. I wouldn't have did nothing that was dissing somebody else, but other than that, that would have been a bad business move to turn that down. But fast forward to now, and if you asked him to work with 6ix9ine, his exact words were, no. And to add further humiliation onto 6ix9ine, legendary rapper and personality Snoop Dogg noted one very interesting fact about 6ix9ine. Mainly, he did something that another person did not do. As we watch Tekashi 6ix9ine or whatever his name is snitch on everybody, I invite you all to remember Martha Stewart snitched on not one soul during her trial. Baby girl kept it 10 toes down and ate that prison sentence by herself, like the true baddie she is. Martha Stewart in her case was also very high profile, and she did indeed take her jail time instead of snitching on other people. So basically, Snoop is saying that Martha Stewart is tougher than 6ix9ine, and many would agree with that sentence. So with that being said, shout out to Martha Stewart, the future of Cardi B and 6ix9ine.
TMZ put it, the choice to rope Cardi into this seems completely gratuitous, but either way, Tekashi denied copying her.
So bringing this all full circle, we find ourselves looking at the potential futures of both Cardi B and 6ix9ine 6ix9ine based off of recent events. For Cardi B, the situation honestly looks a little dire. If these proceedings over the last few months have shown anything, it's that the prosecutors aren't going to lay down for Cardi B. They want to make her pay for this crime. They could have kept offering her plea deals or just dismissed the crime as something petty, but instead they dug deeper and then brought it to the grand jury so they could bring on more charges. Now, to be fair, it's possible another plea deal could be offered. However, since the prosecution now has a lot more ammo to use against Cardi B in regards to the charges, jail time may be a certainty in any deal that they offer, which obviously isn't something she would want either for her or for her husband, rapper Offset, or for her daughter Culture. Still, there are lots of ways this can play out, so we'll just have to wait for her next court date to go through to find out more. But bearing something drastic or unexpected happen, it's very possible that Cardi B could end up in jail for a decent amount of time. As for 6ix9ine, his situation is both dire, yet potentially bright. As part of the plea deal, as long as he cooperates, he's guaranteed to get a lesser jail sentence. But how much less is still dependent on his cooperation and the judge that presides over the case. He could be looking at years, or he could get out in a few months because of all the information he gave the FBI. We truly don't know. There's a lot of variables that go into something like this. There's also the threat of physical harm via the 9 Treys as he betrayed them and is continuing to snitch on the crew, which recently took a bit of a turn because reports are stating that 6ix9ine will not accept witness protection after he gets released. This was etched into his deal for his own protection given who he was snitching on. So for him to refuse this means that he will be open and exposed for anyone who wants to take a crack at him. Now, a lot of people are giving him flack and saying that he's not as tough as he is for snitching on everyone and taking the plea deal, and I might have to agree, but that being said, the fact that he's not taking the witness protection, that says quite the opposite. So regardless of who we're talking about here, the futures of Cardi B and 6ix9ine aren't exactly as clear and defined as they were 1 year ago at this time. And there you have it, a look at what 6ix9ine did to Cardi B and how it affects both of their situations. Who do you think will triumph the most in their respective court cases? Or do you think they will both end up in jail? Would you give 6ix9ine a little more credit now, knowing that he's being quote unquote tough enough to not take the witness protection? One thing's for sure, I don't think he'll ever be tough enough to take on those Cardi B stands. I'm telling you, they are terrifying. Regardless, let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on King Trending.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.